Here we go. Now for our feature story of the day. Government can realize gains on gold certificates to buy Bitcoin. And this is according to Bo Hines. That's right. As you can read here in the headline, if it's budget neutral and doesn't cost the taxpayers a dime, we'll see whatever creative ideas we can come up with. And you already know Michael Saylor probably came up with 101 ideas for the U.S. government to do just that. And one of the many ways is get rid of the fake gold, a.k.a. the gold derivatives, a.k.a. the gold certificates, and trade it for the hardest asset in human existence, Bitcoin. And here someone wrote, sell gold, buy Bitcoin. Shout out to the BTC archive. The Trump administration's budget neutral way to buy billions of dollars of Bitcoin, as broken out here. Eleanor Tourette and it looks like Jackie, but they actually have a conversation about that. And it's a very viable way. And Saylor already proposed that to Trump. And then Max Kaiser wrote, as predicted, Bitcoin is demonetizing gold. You're damn right. So yeah, the Trump admin appears poised to grow a strategic Bitcoin reserve after the White House Crypto Council had suggested budget neutral ways for acquiring the digital asset. There's been countless ideas about the government and how it can acquire more Bitcoin. Bo Hines, executive director of the President Council of Advisors on Digital Assets, said in a recent interview in the Crypto in America podcast, perhaps the best way of doing so would be to realize the gains on the government's gold certificates, which are priced far less than bullion is actually worth today. I'll actually point you to Cynthia Lummis's Bitcoin Act of 2025, in which she believes that we can identify the real, true value of some of these gold certificates. If we actually realize the gains on those holdings, that would be a budget neutral way to acquire more Bitcoin. Bada boom, bada bing, bada boom, bada Bitcoin. And as of the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis explains, all gold certificates held at the Fed banks are computed at a statutory price of $42.22 per troy ounce. That's crazy because right now on the spot market, gold is going for $3,000 an ounce. I mean, to me, it means there's more gold being sold than actually exists, hence derivatives. Not a good look. Senator Lummis proposed the Bitcoin Act of 2025, listing the Federal Reserve System gold certificates as one source of funding for Bitcoin purchases. Let's go. If it doesn't cost the taxpayers a dime, let's make her happen, Captain. The bill requires the Fed banks tender all outstanding gold certificates in their custody to the Treasury Secretary, so the Secretary can issue the new certificates that reflect the fair market value price of the gold held against such certificates by the Treasury. Hines said he is open to any ideas about how to grow the reserve, so as long as it doesn't cost a taxpayer a dime. That's the key. That's the crux of the budget neutral strategies for acquiring Bitcoin laid out by President Trump's March 6th executive order. So all of you fudsters saying the United States can't purchase anything, they're not going to purchase anything, blah, 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 blah. You're wrong. They are absolutely going to do so. They're not stupid. And with all the interagency working group actors that will convene in these meetings, I mean, we are going to hear some tremendous ideas about how we can do it. I just don't want the box us in yet what we actually looks like, because I want to be able to hear from everybody, including the Nippinator, new chairman of the FCC. The U.S. government currently holds roughly 207,000 of the Bitcoin seized in the criminal and civil proceedings. Ain't that ironic? The stolen Bitcoin gets stolen by the government, and the government still has roughly 100,000 Bitcoin belonging to Bitfinex. When you going to return it, U.S. government? Let me know. And during the interview, Hines reiterated the Bitcoin special status, suggesting the White House Crypto Council was treating the strategic reserve and digital asset stockpile very differently. Quoting him here. The reason we structured the Bitcoin strategic reserve the way we did is because Bitcoin is different. Facts. I'm glad they recognize that. It is unique. It is a commodity, not a security. David Sachs likes to say it has the immaculate conception. I like that. Meaning there is no issuer. It has intrinsic stored value and is traditionally accepted store of value as well. We wanted to make that distinction between the stockpile and the reserve. Hell yeah. The Bitcoin strategic reserve, you never sell. You hodl for eternity. The crypto stockpile, I mean, who really cares? The White House rushed to defend Bitcoin's special status shortly after Trump announced plans for the digital asset stockpile, which included a smattering of large cap alts, which I believe is like XRP, Cardano, and Ether, and there may have been one other. Even Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick clarified Bitcoin would be treated differently for the rest of the alts listed. That's right, because the pretty little bitty is in an asset class of itself, and there's no comparing it to any of these altcoins. And even Trumpster is recognizing that, so kudos to his administration. In addition to the Bitcoin acquisition targets, the Trump admin is making significant headway on crypto legislation through the bipartisan cooperation, according to Representative Ro Khanna, California Dem. Congress should be able to pass the stablecoin bill and crypto market structure bill this year in 2025. And if you don't know, now you know. So you tell me this. Do you think the United States will actually follow through with this plan of budget neutral ways to buy billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin by selling their gold certificates for the apex predator, and as predicted, Bitcoin demonetizing gold in real time? You guys let me know your thoughts, and I'm going to leave you with a Max Kaiser quote. Gold is the poor man's Bitcoin. I repeat, especially for you, Peter Schiff, gold is the poor man's Bitcoin. And if you don't know, now you know. Broskies. And with that being shared, welcome everyone to the Q&A segment of the live stream.